What's going on, everyone? Mets Talk with Hayden here. What's going on, everyone? What's happening? Let's get the chat rolling out. Let's get some more people in here. Definitely not as energetic as I usually am. Definitely an unfortunate last couple days for the Mets. And I mean that we've had a couple events, definitely a ton of events happening in the last couple days for the Mets in terms of injuries and everything, and some debuts, guys getting called up. First hits and everything. So we're going to get all that in today's stream. But please, before we get started and I go over the details, please make sure to give this stream a like, comment, subscribe to the channel, and please share this stream with at least one person. That's my goal. I see we kind of have a low attendance right now. We only have 6 people, but 6 is better than nothing, I guess. So in today's stream, we're pretty much going to be going over the Mets and Tampa Bay Rays series preview, as well as the Mets and Atlanta Braves series preview. So we have a ton of stuff to go over. We're going to go over the Jared Kalanick debut and so much more. So please, everyone, give this video a like, comment, subscribe. As always, let's get some people rolling in the chat. I see we got a couple people already. I appreciate you guys tuning in. Definitely means a lot. I'm going to try to do some of these streams now from now on. I think it's pretty much official that I do a stream for a series summary as well as a series preview. So, yeah, I appreciate everyone for tuning in. Absolutely, of course, means a lot. So pretty much getting started with the Mets and Tampa Bay Rays series preview. Series summary, I mean. It was not very good, not going to lie. But basing off of Friday's game, which I did go live for the 1 point of an extra inning, we saw Friday's game was a loss. The Rays took that 2-3 in extra innings. Brett Phillips hit a walk-off. He did his notorious helicopter movement. David Peterson was on the bump for the New York Mets. And it started off well. He got into a bases-loaded jam in the second inning, but got out of it. Peterson had a great performance, if you ask me. Not his best, but definitely top 5, top 3. Pretty much, we went 7.1 innings pitched, 4 hits, 2 runs, 2 walks, and 9 strikeouts. And then he lowered his ERA to 4.68. So pretty average performance from Peterson, everything expected. But the problem was he was going against one of the American League's best pitchers in Tyler Glasnow, who's electric. And, we see he has that third pitch changeup that he's starting to develop. We saw with Glasnow, he used to be a 2. He was really a 2 type of arsenal guy and didn't really have much of an arsenal. He used 2 pitches, and that really kind of got him. But now that third pitch is really helping him out. And yeah, I guess good for Glasnow though, but definitely not the best of performances for Tyler Glasnow. For David Peterson. Glasnow did electric. Both pitchers did electric. Glasnow had 10 Ks. Peterson had 9. So definitely a pitching duel going for most of the game. The Mets bats were, kind of dead. There wasn't really much going on until the 5th inning, where Kevin Pillar broke up the current no-hitter in the 5th inning with a base hit, almost an error, but a base hit. He was able to beat it out. And then that followed with a 2-run bomb hit by Jonathan Villar. Awesome bat flip. Store that down like Nicholas Castellanos 2 years ago in Pittsburgh. So that was great. Sadly, the game changed in the bottom of the 7th. We saw that Mike Zunino hit a home run to start off, and then that kind of is when the domino fell. Luis Rojas should have taken out Peterson immediately after that. He knows it's a close game, and Peterson doesn't go many innings. David Peterson, he's never even pitched into the 8th inning. So the fact that Glasnow, the fact that Rojas would leave Peterson, and that makes absolutely no sense. And I understand, in the back of your mind, you have to know that you have a bullpen game tomorrow, but then maybe you're not equipped to be a manager if that's going to be in the back of your head. So absolutely not a great job by Rojas there. Everyone said, well, why do you blame Rojas for losing that game? It was a walk-off. Well, that's exactly why you blame him. He leaves his pitchers in. He just leaves his pitchers in too long. We saw last year he left them in too long. Then it was kind of he left them in too short. Now he's going back to leaving them in too long. Starters, relievers, anything, and he has to learn. Once these guys are getting up to 70, 80 pitches, and they're giving up a run or two. I think it's time to go. We've seen the Mets give up 7-run leads with the Nationals in 2019. So it's just stuff that Rojas and the Mets, they got to be aware of. It's just something that's not good. So pretty much then that occurred. And then, a ton of hits and walks kind of evened it up to tie up the game. Rojas eventually did take out Peterson. The bullpen was average, just seeing. I mean, all guys went 0.2 innings pitched for May, Castro, and Loop, and they gave up 2 strikeouts combined. So average, pretty average for the bullpen. We are going to get into the bullpen because the bullpen has not been looking so pretty these last couple days. I'll be realistic. Yeah, I don't know. The bullpen is definitely going to be a concern coming ahead. And then, we had injuries and stuff, but we're going to get into that in a bit, though. Otherwise, it was bases loaded. The Mets were not able to do anything, of course. And then bases were loaded, bottom 9, 2 outs, bases loaded. Brett Phillips comes up, and I mean, I think I said in the stream, if you guys were there, I said, watch, Brett Phillips is going to do the helicopter stuff. And sadly, he did. So that's really how it went down for Brett Phillips. He gave a base hit into left field to Conforto. Couldn't do anything. Damage was already done. And yeah, that's how that game went. The Mets lose 2-3 in the bottom of the 9th, where the Tampa Bay Rays walk it off. My issue with that game is really just simply, Rojas really left Peterson in way too long. And it's just something that Rojas really needs to get his mind together with. Listen, he's a young pitcher. He's not expected to, throw a lot of pitches this season. He only pitched so much last year. He only had so much AAA action. You can't leave this guy in so long. And I think that's what Rojas doesn't realize. He was never a player. He comes from a background of players, which, I mean, you think would put some perspective into him, Felipe Alou and, his father and his brothers. But, he was never a player, so he doesn't know what it's like to hit or to be a pitcher. And that's why I think Rojas, he constantly has to go to Jeremy Hefner and, the hitting coaches and say, okay, what do we do? He really isn't being so much of a manager that I've pictured. And, listen, it sucks. The manager is supposed to be a big guy, but I feel not so much Rojas anymore. But yeah, please, guys, let me know in the comments, what are your thoughts on Rojas and stuff? I mean, most of you guys, if you know me pretty well, I'm not too big on Rojas, but it's gonna be a time. So game 1 definitely did not look good at all. Yeah, so unfortunate game 1. I was having ambition that game 2 would be much better. Going into a bullpen game in the back of our mindsets, we knew the bullpen was good. And then sadly, nothing really. Sadly, the bullpen did not do super great. Tried a little. It definitely had its times. But in terms of game 2, we got clobbered in that one. And it really, it started off in a fair game, average, and towards the end, that's when the nail was hit and the game kind of was destroyed. As stated, the Mets lost that one 12-5. Excuse me. As we know, it was a bullpen game. It was started off by Drew Smith, who I believe made his second appearance since coming off the IL. Drew Smith did average. Honestly, he pitched great. 2 innings, 2 hits, a run, 3 Ks. I mean, for his second time coming back, not pitching in a while, that's pretty great. And then we have Joey Lucchesi, who he's a story, Lucchesi, I'll tell you that. Lucchesi, he pitched 1.2 innings, allowed 3 hits, 4 runs, a walk, and a strikeout. I think we looked to a 9.19. I mean, he only has 2 pitches. His velocity isn't that high. He has. I mean, I don't know if it's that funky windup, but his command finding the strike zone is dolted. I don't know. I'm very concerned with Lucchesi, to be honest with you. I mean, he claims he has starts and stops, and we've seen some potential out of him, and then we've seen some appearances just like yesterday. Yesterday we saw definitely not a good Joey Lucchesi. But I just feel for a guy who, he's bragging about this churve and slutter or whatever the heck it's called. Well, no offense, my man, but I don't really think it's working because these are going right over the plate. There's no movement on them really. I mean, if there is, the guys are making contact with them. So definitely unfortunate to see. Lucchesi really got creamed though. Like I said, Rojas left him in way too long. You can't even make the argument 3 batter minimum because he faced 3, 4, 6, 8 batters. Well, in terms of outs. So definitely atrocious appearance for Joey Lucchesi. And then we had Sean Reed Foley and Thomas Hunt who came in. They were quiet, not much action, allowed a couple of walks, hits, strikeouts, nothing really major, no runs scored on them. Then we had Jacob Barnes and Urias Familio who came in, struggled with command, and kind of just gave the Rays really the game. In total, both of them allowed 5 hits, 2 walks, 6 runs, 2 strikeouts, and only 2 innings. So then that's kind of when the game kind of just clobbered away. The Mets offense was all right. As we stated, all 5 runs came against left-handed pitchers. And, the Mets haven't really faced much handed left pitchers. We know guys like Jeff McNeil, Pete Alonso, they've only had, 12 at-bats against lefty pitchers. And, I mean, even on the Mets side, even if you want to have a scrimmage game, the Mets don't really have many left-handed pitchers either. So, you look at a team like the Rays, the Braves, they have a lot of lefties. Unfortunately, the Mets don't really, in terms of hitting, they can't get on that. So that's one thing that this offense really needs to pick up on. And that was one thing. And as we saw in terms of home runs, Jose Peraza hit a 2-run homer for his first in the year. Francisco Lindor had a nice single home run for his third of the year. And as we know, Pete Alonso, he clobbered that ball for a 6 home run in the year. I mean, taking a look at StatCast for that home run, I'm pulling it up. It's, the speed pitch was 92.7 miles per hour, a launch angle of 29 degrees, exit velo of 103.4 miles per hour, and a distance of 398. So, geez, this dude has power, and, he shows it. He has power. Is he the equivalent to Judge or Stan? I don't know, but he has power. He's using it. So overall, great performance by Alonso. He broke the longest home run scratch of his career. I guess it was like 54 at bats. So definitely great to see. Always enjoy to see Pete Alonso hit home runs. And I guess that's one thing he is known for. Hopefully he could start getting in there again. I mean, if you want to make this whole dead ball argument, go ahead. But yeah, definitely great to see Alonso hit some bombs in the year. I always appreciate that. And in terms of today's game, it was not a good game. As we saw, the Rays destroyed. I don't want to say destroyed, but really took over the Mets. They got to their advantage in terms of today's game. It was 7-1. We saw that on the bump, it was Marcus Stroman, and on the Rays, it was Josh Fleming. Stroman pitched pretty. Stroman had his struggles. Right now he's 3-4 in the season. In terms of, Stroman, he went 6 innings pitched, 6 hits, 5 runs, 1 walk, a strikeout, and, raises the ERA to 2.72. Like, again, Rojas, he kept him in too long. Stroman hasn't really gone more than 6 innings this year. He's average, 5 innings. And I mean, listen, I know 1 inning is not really a difference, but yeah, it is for a guy like Stroman. And then, the game was kind of settled at that. Then you had Gazelman come in for an inning, give up a hit, 2 strikeouts. You had Edwin Diaz come in, who starting to see that 2019 Diaz again. 1 inning, 3 hits, 2 runs, and a strikeout. Raises the ERA to 4.11. So overall, Mets bullpen this series was not good. Otherwise, I mean, in terms of today, Patrick Mazeika hit his first home run / his first hit. So good for him. Start seeing Mazeika come out on that. We saw Jeff McNeil and Michael Conforto both left the game today from injuries. We saw McNeil, has been on and off in terms of his he had something with his leg. It wasn't inflammation. It was cramps in his leg from hustling out to second base a couple games ago last series. And Rojas, knowing that McNeil isn't 100%, still decided to have him as a DH. And, listen, it's better than him playing second base at the current moment, especially when you have that American League advantage right there. But the fact that Rojas knows McNeil is coming off a cramp issue, why would you play him? I mean, please, Rojas, if you're in the stream, explain to me, why would you play him? I mean, we know that not even the Mets, all over MLB, there's injuries. Look at the Phillies. Harper, Realmuto, and Didi Gregorius were out. That's their core. The Atlanta Braves. Ronald Acuna Jr. is out. The Dodgers. Cody Bellinger's out. Last night, what's-his-face? Corey Seager got, a hand fraction or whatever. A lot of guys are getting hurt. And I think the fact that Rojas goes around, making these silly moves and, nonsense stuff, just keep him fresh and then start him in the Atlanta series and see how he is. Gary Cohen even said, "Oh, McNeil isn't 100%, but he's okay." Well, okay is not good enough. I want 100%, not okay. Foolish that Rojas would put him out there. In terms of Conforto, I mean, he hurt his hamstring, tightened it, sore. I have no idea. In terms of how long these guys are going to be out for, I don't know. And I mean, now we really only have 3 guys who are starters that are left. You have Dom Smith, Francisco Lindor. James McCann, true, yeah. So then 4, and then Pete Alonso. Second base, Peraza. He's a bench player. I mean, it came to a point today if one more Met got hurt after those 2, Tomas Nido would have been the only guy. And what do you put? Then what do you do? We have guys like Khalil Lee and Jake Hager obviously came in today. But this is something that, and listen, it's all around MLB. So, I don't want to go around saying it's the Mets. Do I think the Mets got the worst of it? To an extent. It all kind of happened in a small period of time. But in terms of everything, we're going to get into the injuries a lot later, though, because I don't want to fully focus on that. But please, everyone, make sure to give this video a like, comment, and subscribe to the channel before we move on to the Braves and Mets series preview. And please share the stream with one person. That's all I ask. Share with your dog, your pet. I can care less. Just share it with one person, please. It would mean a lot from me. So in terms of the, we saw that the Mets have lost their last 3. So hopefully things will have a different attitude going into Atlanta. This is the first time the Mets will be facing the Braves this year. So obviously it will be in Atlanta. So at Truist Park, nice ballpark. I've yet to been there, but I do have plans on attending there soon. In terms of game 1, it'll be tomorrow, Monday at 7:10. Always enjoy, after an interleague game, continuing and not having a day off. I find that silly. So it'll be Mets starter is going to be unknown. The thing is, do you go for a bullpen game? If you go for a bullpen game, maybe that's why a lot of our bullpen are struggling now is because you've been relying on them so much. So that's going to be an issue. It really is. I don't know. I really don't know. That's going to be an issue. But in terms of the Mets starter, it's still unknown. In terms of the Atlanta Braves, it is Max Fried, who currently this season, looking here, he's been an on and off guy this year. He's come back from the IL, and even before the IL and after the IL, he was struggling. Although, as we stated, he has not been hot this year. He's been optimistic, but, he has a 6.55 ERA this year. Unfortunately, he is a lefty, so I'm hoping the Mets could try to, get into that, lefty pitching mentality where they could get to those left-handed pitchers. He has an arsenal: changeup, four-seamer, curve, slider, sinker. However, Fried's velocity is very low. Just seeing him, he averages like 93, 94 in terms of a fastball. So, hopefully the Mets can get on top of that too. But I will say the Braves offense has been struggling. Acuna's out. Marcell Ozuna's been batting low. Ozzie Albies has probably been one of the fair people there. Freddie Freeman's been batting low. I think he hit a walk-off today. I saw something about the Braves walking off. I don't know. Maybe I'm making that up, but it's gonna be a challenge for this Mets going into the Braves series. So please, everyone, before we get on to game 2, give this video a like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. It would mean a lot. Overall, we got game 2, which, listen, game 2 is also going to be an interesting story. It'll likely be Taijuan Walker on the mound against Charlie Morton, the former Tampa Bay Ray, who I don't think the Mets are really facing that much, and also former Astro too. So it'll be interesting if he comes to Citi Field at one point. So yeah, definitely going to be performance. Sorry about that. I was getting some messages. Yeah, so we have Charlie Morton and Taijuan Walker on the bump for game 2, which will be Tuesday at 7:20. I don't know why they have that 10-minute difference. I can care less. 10-minute delay, whatever. Like we said, Taijuan Walker is coming off of one of his best starts of probably his career, definitely this season. Against the Baltimore Orioles. So far, he's been having high velocity. He's a beast, throws heat, great command of the strike zone, not walking many guys. Coming back from a previous injury, his velocity's going up there. I think his Average fastballs went up 1 full mile per hour since that, so that's always great. And then on the Atlanta Braves bump, it will be Charlie Morton, who is struggling. 5.08 ERA, 2 for 2, hasn't pitched many innings this season due to struggling, very inconsistent, and he's been having a walk control issue. So definitely something hopefully the Mets can get on top of. We know guys like Alonso have been kind of going less with the walk and going more for the long ball. But yeah, so that'll be game 2. That definitely going to be interesting performance, though. I'll argue that. So that is game 2. And in terms of game 3, as we know, it's a 3-game series. Game 3, which will be Wednesday at 7:20, will be David Peterson and Drew Smyly. And Drew Smyly has kind of been one of the really only hot players on the Atlanta Braves, we could say. It'll be David Peterson versus Drew Smyly. Peterson is coming off of a pretty great start against the Rays. I know we stated it priorly, but it wasn't so much on Peterson. It was more him being stretched out too much, as well as the offense not really doing much for him. But like we said, with Peterson, he's been looking great. His hitting the stride has been great for him so far. His control's been on and off, but so far he's coming off a great start. If he can go 6 innings and then, maybe tops, I'll take it. And then Drew Smyly, who, as I stated before, has been one of the kind of hot guys for the Atlanta Braves this season. He's been on and off, as we see with a lot of the Braves guys. But just looking here, 5.23 ERA, 2 for 2, a 1.3 WHIP. So, average pitcher, not bad. I will say solid signing by the Atlanta Braves. But overall, definitely going to be an interesting series. In terms of the outcome of this series, it's 3 games. I don't know. I mean, in terms of the IL, we got a ton of guys on the IL, which I do want to get into that. But I don't want to blame necessarily the Mets so much. But I think we have to look at the Mets and Braves. There's just so much to look at. I mean, everyone came into this, this series saying, 7-game win streak. Yeah, but, we got the 7-game win streak against the Diamondbacks and the Orioles. I mean, what is that to brag about? It's not like we faced the Yankees and then Dodgers back to back. Yeah, that's something to brag about. But, we're going against guys like Caleb Cayley and, Matt Harvey. I mean, John Means is average, sure. But yeah, definitely a rough series. I will say that. Now we're coming into the point where we're playing real teams. I mean, the Rays, they have hitters. They're statistically, mechanically interesting team. How Kevin Cash, he's really interesting. How he operates with the shifts, his pitchers, his openers. It's incredible. They really are an underrated team, a franchise overall. Honestly, if I wasn't a Mets fan, I mean, I would definitely consider being a Rays fan. I mean, I know they don't have many fans, but living in Florida, I mean, they're my favorite AL team. I'll say that. I mean, if the Mets were to play any team in the World Series, I'd like it to be the Rays. But yeah, now we're getting into that moment, where we have to face, guys like Glasnow and hot pitchers. And, when we face Glasnow, he kind of destroyed us, everyone's like, oh, but it's against Glasnow, so we have an excuse. Yeah, well, no offense, you don't have an excuse because, if the Mets want to make it to the playoffs and they get into playoffs, you're not going to be facing, the Pirates and Orioles rotation. You're going to be facing, Kershaw, Bauer, Buehler. That's pretty dangerous. I mean, yeah, you can make the argument the Mets have it too if we're healthy. But, can our bats do something against it? I mean, baseball's two-way. Bats hit, offense and defense. I mean, you can't get one. You have to get both. They got to work together, both of that. So, definitely, I don't know. It's going to be a challenge. I mean, it really is. I mean, that we've seen the Mets have always did good against the good teams and, bad against the bad teams. So I don't know. But please, everyone, I know the chat's kind of low. We only have 6 people in here. But please, if you can, give this stream a like, comment, subscribe to the channel. Maybe I'll have some people call in towards the end. Maybe I'll put the link in the chat. If you want to call in, please let me know. Definitely leave a comment. Please share the stream if you can. If you have a Discord, social media, any friend that likes baseball, please. It would really mean a lot. Trust me, it really would mean a lot. So please feel free to do that. Yeah. But otherwise, please drop some comments. I will go over some news. Yeah. So in terms of the news and stuff, there's been some news going around with baseball. We saw Jared Kelenic was called up. He didn't do much his first game, but as we saw in the second game, he had a dinger, went 2 for 3, drove in 2 RBIs. Definitely a slap on the face for Brody Van Wagenen. Just something I didn't like to see. I'll say that. Definitely, unfortunate to see with Brody Van Wagenen how this whole trade went around, and so far it's looking like the Mariners won that trade long completely. And please let me know in the comments. What are your guys' thoughts on this whole Brody Van Wagenen, Jared Kelenic trade to the Mariners, and how you think Kelenic will perform? Do you think he'll be a guy like Byron Buxton who will be a really high prospect? Come up his first couple of years, be average, and then explode, or do you think he'll have his on and off moments, or be a full on all-star all year around? Please let me know in the comments what you guys think. So that's one thing in news going on with baseball. I do want to talk about the Mets defense because it's been pretty on fleek recently. We see that the Mets are 17th overall with runs saved, which is 4th in the NL. So a round of applause for the Mets. I know, take it with a grain of salt. We've really been having our ninth inning defensive guys come in to play the game, so that could be something. But in terms guys like Alonso, Conforto, they've really been helping. Jared Kelenic. It's Kelenic, yeah, Jared Kelenic, the former Mets prospect who Brody Van Wagenen traded away in that Robinson Cano and Edwin Diaz trade, which is interesting. So yeah, overall, that's it with Kelenic. That's it with the defense. It's going. In terms of the IL, which I could probably sit here for hours talking about the Mets IL, if we're talking about the MLB IL, yeesh, we'll be here for a long ride. But Nimmo's been dealing with a bone bruise. He's playing in rehab with AAA Syracuse. There was talks about him coming up for the Rays series, and then he kind of just went back down. He said he didn't feel comfortable. He wasn't okay completely. And then he left that recap after going 0 for 3 because he was having his issues again. Everyone else thought it was because he was good and he was going back to the Mets, but it was the opposite. So injuries have not been treating us well. Really, I'll say that. The injuries have not been treating us well. In terms of JD Davis, he's looking fine. Hopefully he'll be back soon. Obviously, no. The Mets are going to want him to play in a rehab game, most likely AAA Syracuse as well. So hopefully he can be back soon, ASAP. Third base has been, Villar's been keeping it tidy offensively and defensively. Jeff McNeil, I wrote this last night, so I'm going to have to go off of my own wording. He's been fine, but he wasn't 100%. And then Luis Rojas was a clown for putting him in the game today, knowing that he wasn't 100% and that he wasn't fully okay. And then Rojas put him in the game as a DH. I don't care if he's, the ball boy. I don't want him on the field if he's not 100%. If he's 99.99, no, I want him 100%. Because if you put him out there and he's okay, and he does something else, then it's going to be worse, and he'll be out for even more time. I'd rather him miss, the Rays and Braves series and come back for the Marlins series and be healthy and hot than, substitute in and, go, 1 for 10 or something, So definitely something ridiculous by Rojas to do, and just Rojas is killing me. And with these injuries, he has no idea what to do. Rojas is a pretty ripped dude. He's pretty jacked. He goes to the gym, I see. So, he shouldn't even know this. And in terms of Seth Lugo, one guy I do want to talk about, he also will be going to AAA Syracuse very soon to make some pitching starts. Hopefully he should be back very shortly, hopefully mid-May, because this bullpen, hopefully it's just this race series where it struggled. But, I think Lugo really needs to come in there and, be the water on the fire, I think. So going to be something for this Mets team. And then obviously we do know that we have another injury, potentially Michael Conforto. I'm going to try to check Twitter. Yeah, I haven't really checked Twitter. But in terms of Twitter with the Mets, we saw Luis Rojas did have a press conference with McNeil and about Conforto, so that's very interesting. Okay, so yeah, nothing really that I could see with those guys. Just be patient with me. Give me a minute. I don't know if there's anything new. So people are panicking, saying Davis and Conforto and McNeil are going to be out till like mid-June. I don't think that. I think that's a little irrational. Maybe one of them may, but I think Nimmo will be back a week tops. Maybe the same for Davis, a little less. I mean, I'm not, I'm not a, I mean, I don't, I'm not an injury doctor, uh, so I really couldn't tell you. I mean, in my opinion, I think that's fair. Time will tell, though. Yeah, so definitely, injuries are killing us, and it's also killing baseball too. Like, so many top guys are out. So, if it was just the Mets, I'd be, pissed off and panicking. But it's all Major League Baseball. So yeah, definitely not a good stream to talk about. I will argue that. I really will argue that. Let me know in the comments. What do you guys think about these injuries with baseball? I mean, everyone came into the season knowing what happened just because a little time played last year. Everyone suspected it, so it's nothing new. But yeah, definitely very tough to see. Like I said, if any of you guys do want to call in at some point, probably in about 5 minutes ago, I may take some call-ins if you guys want to stay on for 5-10 minutes tops, because I do have to get to do some stuff soon, but I do want to talk with some of my viewers, see what they got to say. I think we're going to get our friend Andrew in. I think Zariz may want to call in. If anyone else wants to call in, I'll put the link in the chat and we'll see. But yeah, that's really it in terms of the Mets and Rays series summary, the Mets and Brave series preview, the injuries, Jared Kelenic debuting. But in terms of the Conforto injury, I don't really know. I know that he did something with the hamstring. So I don't know. Hamstring, something serious. Conforto's been, I mean, a lot of these guys, and, a lot of Met fans are upset that, we got swept by the Rays. But I think a lot of that, one, I mean, you could blame Rojas. And two, you could also blame, I mean, we had so many guys out. We had Nimmo, Davis, McNeil. We had Conforto out for most of the game today. So the only guys that we've really been having that are everyday starters, Alonso, Lindor, Smith, and McCann. I would say one out of those four are playing like terrible. The only good guys, I would say, are really Alonso. I mean, we saw Alonso was the really only guy who actually did anything in that Rays series. McCann's been a dud. Lindor's been Mendoza line, not even anywhere. And Smith has been another story. So hopefully, Nimmo, Davis, and McNeil and Conforto could get back into the swing of things. I mean, I think Nimmo and Davis would be the first up, hopefully to see back. Definitely McNeil. I mean, the thing with McNeil's, I don't know if he's going to be out or not. He may just be day to day. Maybe he'll just miss the Braves series. But as long as we have guys like Alonso and everyone, knock on wood, then we're fine. And luckily, our pitching's been healthy. We haven't really had any pitching injuries besides DeGrom. So, I'm just glad that's under control and it's surviving. It really is. I will say, in terms of baseball, not much. Not many pitchers I've noticed have been getting hurt. I don't know if it's me, but I feel it's really a lot of batters. Maybe it's me, maybe it's not, but that's just something I picked up. So yeah, let me know in the comments, what do you guys think? Have you noticed it's a lot of batters rather than pitchers? So I don't know. Maybe also because they've been, going less, but I don't know. But I am gonna pin the link in the chat if anyone wants to hop on, talk for like 5 minutes, that's all. You definitely can. If Zariz wants to call in, please do. But yeah, I do want to get into some comments. Baseball's my LFGM. What's going on, man? Sid series, yeah, absolutely. Hopefully we can get something started against the Braves. They've been getting a little hot without Acuna. Hopefully they could get somewhere. That's my goal. In terms of the Mets and Braves series, I didn't bring it up. It's really unpredictable. I really don't want to get another sweep. I'm hoping we can go maybe. I'm hoping we can go 2 for 1, at least get one win in there. I'm not expecting to be hot, with our 9th inning defensive guys, but yeah, definitely. Got to stay positive, man. Or reverse psychology, be negative. What's the news of Conforto? Yeah, I explained that. I'm sure. Hopefully you saw. Let's get it. Absolutely. LFGM. Absolutely. Mets will be fine. Yeah, like I said, every team has an injury. Who will be Rojas' replacement? Me or you, if you would like. Lucchesi, yeah. McCann's definitely been a bust. LFGM, absolutely. Yeah, definitely. What's going on? Kalanick, yes. Injuries are definitely killing us. You're leaving the field now. All right, man. Definitely try to tune in. Take the Expos hat off. However, for historical reasons, what's going on? GM, absolutely. So yeah, definitely ton of stuff to your. I'm gonna let in one of our friends, Ariz. So we're gonna hear his thoughts quickly about the Mets and Rays series and upcoming news. So what's going on, man?
Wow.
Yeah.
Could have
Hey, I'm
gone
taking it
better.
out rapid.
Could have gone better. I think the biggest concern should be the health of players. I'm not as concerned about the loss as most people are because, uh, I mean, you have to take into account that at this point, over half the lineup is injured and can't play. Uh, I think that could really negatively affect us in the next series. Uh,
Of course.
and look, I mean, I don't know if you remember this. After game one of the Rays series, I thought I was kind of defending Rojas, but thinking about it, I think he's absolutely to blame for the first game.
And for the
You
series.
have yeah, that too. I mean, you have such a talented young pitcher in David Peterson, though. While he's great, I mean, he's never gone to the eighth inning. You got to have someone warmed up to start the inning, because after that when I was it Zunino who hit the home run,
Yes.
right when that happened, I'm like, okay, pull him. Like this guy, he's young. You don't want to risk his confidence. You also want his stat line to look better, you know, like and you want to give Trevor May the clean inning with the clean bases. Like you got to have for a young pitcher who's never gone eight innings. You just have to have someone warming up. Like I absolutely believe Trevor May would have gotten through a clean inning if he were warming up earlier.
Yeah.
And then obviously Loop blew it at the end. Loop has been great for us though. I mean, with the bases loaded, you can't expect the guy with less than 2 outs to get out of it all the time. And he tried. He just made a mistake. You know what I mean? But I think there are encouraging things, but also really not encouraging things. Like seeing what I think David Peterson's proving is that he's everything Steven Matz is not. Steven Matz, whenever he made a mistake, would implode from there.
Yeah. I mean,
David
it's something that all young pitchers do it, and I think just in terms of the series, as you stated, a lot of our lineup's injured, and the only guys who really have left, as stated before, is Alonso, Smith, McCann, and Lindor. I mean, one out of those four guys have really
Get McCann the fuck out of here, please.
Yeah,
he's so bad. Like literally, sign Tyler Flowers out of retirement. I would rather have him. I don't care
honestly,
about the hitting.
If you want to, double up Nito Mazika, I mean, at this rate, in terms of McCann, it's one thing if you're offensively struggling, but defensively doing good.
Which he's not.
It's fair. But the thing is, he's doing what Ramos did in 2020. He's struggling offensively and he's struggling defensively. He's letting balls behind him. His framing's been terrible for being a great framer. And I think the thing is that, he's an everyday catcher. That's fine. He's not an everyday catcher. We saw with the White Sox, he would go out there 30, 40 games a season. Yasmani Grandal was the main catcher for the White Sox. And when we signed him, I was like, but he's not an everyday catcher. So, is he going to play 130 games? And everyone was like, yeah, we'll worry about that when it becomes an issue. Well, now it's an issue. So what do we do?
You know what's even more confusing about the McCann signing? Like, if we're a team that's focusing on analytics, if you look at this guy's analytics, he's not good. The analytics say he's bad. They've always said he's bad. So I don't understand. Like Sandy Alderson is a dude who would be so. I don't know why he just hand out $40 million to a guy like this, where in his past he has been one of the worst framers in the entire game. And because of a tiny sample size in 2020, he decided to give him $40 million. I'm sorry, but I understand the argument saying, look, we signed James McCann. We get other depth. James McCann, though, is not a good catcher. So there's a problem there. Number two, I would have much rather signed Real Muto. And I don't care
Oh,
about
who
the
would've?
budget. I don't care about the budget. Like when it comes to Real Muto, and that's because we could have signed VR and Pilar signing. We signed to like 1 year minimum deals or like $5 million. You think Steve Cohen can't afford that? I'm sure he could. I'm sure we could get Taiwan Walker still. The Lindor extension is a bigger question, but I really think like James McCann is killing the team. He's killing it offensively and occasionally defensively.
You know, we signed him for 4 years. No opt-outs in between, 80 million. And you know, it comes to an issue. I mean, in terms of really Mito, I don't care about the luxury tax because I guarantee you, with the next meeting, that luxury tax is going to be a was. But you know, like I said, he's not an everyday catcher, and I mean, in terms of looking into the free agents, you know, so many guys out there. You know, I mean, really Mito would have been the number one. But in terms of looking at free agents for 2022 for catching, I mean, it's really shortstop is really what it's compacted with. Looking at the 2022 free agent tracker, you don't really have any catchers really on there.
I mean, Christian Vasquez is coming next year, right?
Okay, I mean, yeah, really look at a lot of starting pitching and a lot of shortstops. I mean, you know, so something's going to have to happen. I mean, if you want to throw away his contract, that's going to be one story, but definitely going to be tough. That's the thing. I mean, you know, I'm fine if he's an alternate catcher. Maybe if he goes out there, you know, once a week, he could do something. But that's the thing is, you know, then everyone says, "Oh, I want Nito," but Nito's going to be the same thing?
Not
Nito's
defensively.
Well, okay, sure. But the thing is, Nito, he's not an everyday catcher also. So everyone wants
a
guy who also is an everyday catcher to be an everyday catcher. I mean, I don't understand that. Maybe, you know, in terms of defensively, he's a better framer, but like
much better. He's much better.
Or is that going to be only one game out of a week?
I mean, I think that's a big problem because, like, when you think about it, when you think about it, like, there are games where McCann will start the day game after the night game. Like, if you want to bring out the most of this guy, we've seen in the past, it's when he's switching off with another catcher or more often. And especially when Nito has been so much better behind the plate, I think it's going to help McCann and Nito if they can both play their own roles. And like, I mean, it's just frustrating, you know. I mean, we just got to go tomorrow. We got to. I'd say we just let's steal the first game. We're not going to have a great lineup, but we have. I think is it Walker tomorrow? Taiwan Walker.
Tomorrow, yes.
Like we have Taiwan Walker against a struggling Max Fried. Let's steal the first game. If we can steal the first game, that would be huge. We can get our confidence going for the next game. Maybe even some players could come back within that. So we just need to steal that first game because you do not want to have 4 losses in a row and have Atlanta have the momentum.
I agree. You know, it's something, you know, the first game, you know, always sets stuff set in stone to an extent. You know, I'll say, you know, injuries have definitely been, you know, an incident for us. I mean, you know, based on your opinions and what you're saying, you know, you're not a fan of McCann. Obviously, I am not. You know, you're not a fan of Rojas. I understand that. But, you know, I'm hoping and I'll be ambitious and have the light in the future that, you know, once a lot of guys come back from the IL, in baseball overall, that, you know, things are going to start shaping out differently. Certain teams may not perform as well. You know, I know as stated before, you know, everyone's talking about, you know, the defense and how great it is. Well, yeah, because you've been having all your defensive guys out there and, you know, not your everyday guys.
Let's also make it clear. VR has made some horrible defensive plays at the same time.
Yes, but I mean, how more than he's made
more than not. Yeah, I agree.
Right. You know, I mean, it's definitely an interesting upgrade from Davis, of course. You know, and I mean, these bench guys, Pilar, Villar, you know, they've been holding their, you know, the positions, you know, nice and tidy and warm for, you know, McNeil, and you know, other guys that are out. But in terms of everything else, you know, it's definitely gonna be a struggle. You know, time will tell. It really will. You know, I know all of MLB's having this. Yelich is out. Bellinger's out. You know, so many guys are out right now. I know, like I said, a lot of pitchers haven't really been hurt so much. But I mean, pitching, that's something you get practiced over the offseason. So, you know, you get into a rhythm. where live at bats in a stadium against another team. Well, you don't get that so much.
Oh, sorry. I was just reacting. I thought the Braves tied the game. They didn't. Okay, they're down on their last strike. Yeah, keep going.
Yeah, so it's going to be a time. Oh, yeah, the Brewers are winning. Okay, so I mean, in terms of today, it's something you want to get out there. I mean, in terms of looking at the NL East, yeah, we're still in first place, 18-16. Sorry, getting a phone call. 18-16. The Phillies are 21-20. Braves are 19-20. Marlins are 17-22, and the Nationals are 15-20. So we're still up there. It's just going to come down. Now a lot of baseball is coming down to realization and actually being real. Teams like the Royals are starting to go downhill. Teams like the Dodgers are starting to get better. I mean, there's been some hidden gems in there like the Red Sox. What's another team? Phillies, Giants, no doubt. I think they have the best record in baseball, right?
Really? The Giants?
Besides, what?
Do the Giants have the best record in baseball?
The Giants. No, the White Sox do.
Oh, yeah, the White Sox, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they were probably most of our World Series, out of the AL. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I have a soft spot for them. They have a nice young team, nice young confident team.
I mean, I picked the Yankees, but
yeah, Yankees didn't do well today. I mean, AL East. Besides the Yankees, kind of did well. The Orioles beat the Yankees. Rays beat the Mets. Red Sox lost. So never mind. But yeah, definitely interesting. Interesting games today. Tomorrow's a new day.
Yeah.
Refresh button. Hopefully, we can get onto a rhythm, a good track. As you stated, take game one. Once you have game one, that's some leverage off to avoid another sweep and get that winning streak back. Like I said, it's going to be time. It really is. I mean, I don't want to say the injuries are going to super kill us, but it's definitely going to have something implemented in us. And then once guys like Davis and Nimmo come back, they haven't really played a whole lot. I mean, Davis has played 5 games. Which I mean, listen, that's what rehab and the AAA is for. But I mean, AAA is completely different than major leagues. So it's gonna be the time. However, there are always pros to stuff like this in terms of pros. Look, we've been testing out guys like Patrick Mazeika, Jake Hager,
first major league hit,
and our bench. In terms of Mazeika, I mean, are the Mets gonna use him as a catcher, or are they just gonna use him as a pitch hitter, DH? I mean, I'm still curious on what they're going to do with him. So many questions going into this team in terms of injuries. In terms of coming back in order, I mean, it's really, is Conforto going to be out for a while now? Is McNeil going to be out for a while? Is Nimmo coming back, shortly? Davis, Lugo. I said we have at least 5 guys who are, very crucial to this team that are out. It pains to see. It really does.
Yeah. I mean, down the road, let's say if the Mets are fighting. Yeah, okay, yeah, I gotta go. I'll see you later, man.
All right, yeah, I appreciate you, man. Thanks for
tuning in. All right, LFGM, man. See ya.
LFGM. All righty. Always great to have our loyal fan, Zariz, come into the chat, the stream, and give us his thoughts. Please, everyone, if anyone else wants to join in, you could shut your camera off, turn your camera on. However you roll, if you want to come in for 2 seconds, ask a literal question, say one word, please do the chat. The link is pinned in the chat, so please hit that. Join, talk some baseball for 5, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, whatever. So we to the chat, absolutely. Yes, no, that's true. And I think baseball's starting to come back down to reality, Daniel. We saw teams like the Royals who were winning, and now they're starting to lose again. I'll say that it's been exciting baseball. It's really been exciting and really close. AL East has been tight. AL West has been tight to an extent. Central's been tight. I mean, I'd say really all of them have been tight. I mean, NL West is like a game or 2 behind. That 1-2-3 combo in the NL East is very tight also. Do I think the Phillies are going to be a second place team? Probably not. I could see them being a third place team though. I mean, everyone was kind of bumming on them saying, I don't really see much of a difference from 2019, but they finished 500 exactly, or a game or 2 above or below in 2019. And I mean, they made a couple of bullpen upgrades. Realmuto and Harper's been, going out there. So I don't think they're a terrible team, as everyone was assuming they would be. In terms of the Nationals, they have Marlins, yeah. Braves have been having their pitching struggles and injuries, which have really been getting to them. I will say that. But please, everyone, please feel free to join the link in the chat. If you want to join, we'll keep the stream going for a bit more, see if anyone else wants to get in. I did know a couple other people wanted to join, but they were not at the home momentarily. So hopefully they will come on. But yeah, that's really it. Like we said, Patrick and Zeke, you guys first hit today. Nothing seems new with Twitter. I do have to watch the Luis Rojas press conference where he talks about the injuries, and it's very curious to see what he's going to say. I mean, he's either he's gonna get smeared. I'll say that. It really is. Please, everyone, feel free to give this video a like, comment, and subscribe. Please share this stream and channel with at least one person. Whether it's your grandparents, your dog, a friend that likes baseball or not, likes anything, and I'll take it. Quiet stream today. I mean, we only have 8 people in the chat, and it's kind of been staying at that for the whole stream. For the first 20 minutes, it was 3 people, but I appreciate guys like Daniel, John, Michael, everyone kind of staying in for most of it. It definitely means a lot. But please, guys, I'm just to know what you guys think. What are your thoughts on the Mets going ahead? Drop it below. What are some more videos you want to see out of me? I'm definitely gonna do a jersey and hat show off collection. I may do that. I'm debating if I should make that a video or a stream. Because I have so many jerseys, and everyone's like, oh, but it's a jersey. You can just see it online. But I have some interesting old fashioned jerseys, like my Cal Ripken one, my Randy Johnson, World Series one. So I have some nice vintage classic jerseys and stuff. So definitely maybe making a series on that, or just doing it on a stream. If it'd be a video, it'd be a minute or 2 long, just showing the jersey, going over some details with it. There's those jersey clothing fanatics out there, kind of like myself in terms, they like to show off jerseys and stuff. I have over 53 hats. I don't have a whole lot of jerseys. I probably have a dozen jerseys, baseball at least. So definitely maybe want to show those off. So definitely wanting to do that very shortly. If we would have won their boob. Yeah, that's true. But you also think, though, that, you want to hear a rant, because I don't know, Daniel. I mean, I don't know if you've seen my past rants before, but they're pretty funny. They really are. I mean, I stand up out of my chair. My chair goes back. I throw the hat. I hit my desk. I'm sure most of the OGs of this channel, know my reactions. But please, everyone, feel free to give this stream a like, comment, and subscribe to the channel for more great Mets news. As stated before, we do streams talking about series recap as well as series previews. So we are going to add one of our great friends, Andrew, to the chat, see his opinion, see if he's as triggered as me about the Mets. So what's going on, man?
What's going on, man? What's going on?
So,
I didn't watch today. Obviously, got some playoff hockey and baseball, and I streamed early today. But just the bullpen finally had a series where the bullpen showed up. Where the bullpen we were scared of showed up. Lucchesi, again, was bad. Sean Reed-Foley gave up a few runs. Aaron Loop, not much you can blame on Loop coming in with the bases loaded. Lefty, you'd like him to get him out. He struck out the first guy, didn't get out, Brent Phillips. That's what you can do. Stroman didn't have a great start today. I heard, it's just rough, and you're going to have these series. You're facing one of the best teams in baseball. As much as this is a first-place team, you're still somewhere in that top 10 pecking order, and you're facing a team that is the defending American League champs. So you knew it was going to be tough. It doesn't matter who they have. They're all going to be great. And some of these guys you've never even heard of, and they're getting outs. They're getting big hits. So it's just kind of – I was trying and hoping for one. I would have liked to take at least one game and then lose the 2, but getting swept, it's a big deal, but I expected to lose this series. It sucks to get swept, but It's kind of you're losing to a better team. I'd rather get swept by the Rays than get swept by like the Marlins or something. So.
Absolutely. And, I think it shows that, I said this before and I'll say it again, the Rays are a good team. As you stated, they're past the 2020 American League champs. Everyone was going around saying, 7-game winning streak. Yeah, against, what is it, 4th or 5th place D-backs and, 5th place Orioles. I mean, yeah, we got the Cardinals. That was a nice 2-gem. But, now we're facing guys like Glasnow. And, we have to be able to hit against guys like Glasnow, Buehler, Cole. We have to we have to be able to hit and, do the opposite in terms of these, heavy pitchers. We can't, the Mets want to go to the playoffs, but, everyone makes an excuse saying, oh, it was Glasnow, it's fine. But I hate to break it to everyone, but in the playoffs, we're not going to be facing, Matt Harvey. We're going to be facing, a possible rotation of Kershaw, Buehler, Bauer. You got to get hits off of that. I mean, I will say Glasnow definitely has some nasty stuff. No doubt that it's third pitch, the strikeouts, everything. But in terms of the Mets, it's unfortunate. All the injuries came into play, which it is one reason why potentially we've been slumping. You've been having your more defensive guys go out there, which is why the defense has been moving up and the offense is down. Nimmo's out, Davis is out. Conforto missed today's game. McNeil missed missed 1 out of 3. 2 out of 3. So that's you're pretty much. I mean, besides Alonso, Smith, Lindor, McCann, everyone else is out.
Yeah, I mean, you look at it. That's your best 2 hitters all year have been out pretty much since end of April, with Nimmo and JD being out. Those are the only 2 guys that were consistently hitting. Now you're out of the lineup. You're happy with a Pilar and a VR stepping up, but you don't want them playing every day. You want them, spot start against lefty or an occasional start. You don't want these guys playing every day because you brought them in as a bet. You brought him in as a bench, and like I said on Mets Weekly, I mean, it's great that now when guys are getting hurt, you have major league talent, but now you're running thin. Now you're starting to see more guys. Mazika, as much as he's been a folk hero, you're seeing him. Khalil Lee got, a cup of coffee, didn't do anything. Got called up, sent back down. But now you're starting to see the depth that we like. Now he's starting to get kind of thin. If another injury, who knows what's next? So I think we'll probably see Nimmo back tomorrow or probably Tuesday. And then JD probably the end of the week. So there's your outfielder back. There's your third baseman back. So now, what do you do with Dom? Do you play Dom? Pilar's hitting pretty well. Who comes out the lineup for Nimmo? So you have that kind of problem, which is good to have. What guys you're playing, a lot of guys that are good. But again, the pitching for the first time in a while, the pitching kind of let us down this series. In the bullpen specifically, the bats have always been up and down. But the pitching has always been really good, and this pitching this weekend was not as great. Stroman having a bad start today, Lucchesi having another bad start. I don't want to see him again unless it's in like an extra lefty role. I don't want him coming in for bulk anymore. I'm all for him kind of being that second lefty with Luke when healthy, but I don't want to see him pitching like 3 or 4 innings trying to eat innings. Reed Foley finally gave up a run, but again, you kind of knew it was happening. The bullpen has been so good that you knew a weekend. Yeah, let's go Knicks. One of these series was going to happen because the bullpen has been so good. Guys like Familia, Giselman, all those guys have been so good that you knew eventually we were going to have one of these series where the bullpen were just going to melt over. And it's just, you expect it. And, again, it's a good team. I'm not going to go nuts. The Rays are a good team. We got kind of put back in our place. You won 7 in a row. Okay, here's a really good team. You aren't on that level yet. You're close. You're getting there. But I think I tweeted out, like, this series could have been like a measuring stick, but really tomorrow's series really is important. Getting the Braves, division game. Yeah, like that for me, I was like, whatever happens this weekend, I really, it's of course you would like to win, but focus on Monday, and the next 3 games are going to be kind of the big games of the year so far this year.
Absolutely. And, and I think, you brought up pitching. I think one thing, the reason our bullpen's starting to get low is because we've been relying on it so much. I mean, in terms of, the past 2 games, I mean, we've been really going with the 4-man rotation, Stroman, Walker, Peterson, and then, of course, the openers really go. So, you have DeGrom out. Hopefully he should be back soon. You have that 5th spot that's questionable. Hopefully Carrasco, or at this rate, if Lugo can come in, I'd honestly throw Lugo there. Definitely questionable. And, Rojas has really been using his bullpen pitchers. He's really been pressing on Like today, he put in Diaz. Not a save situation. Why do you put him in? If anything, we're losing, so who cares? Keep in Bumgarner and let him, why would you use up Diaz? You could use him tomorrow. I don't get that. And like we said, he's taking guys out way too long after. In terms of Peterson, once Peterson gave up that homer to Zunino to split it 2-1, that's when you take him out. You don't let him face 3 more guys and get 2 on. You don't do that. You have to take him out. This guy has never went into the 8th inning before. I don't think that has even been into the 7th, probably, but he's probably taken out. He's never been into the 8th inning before. You keep him in. He gives up a home run. You sit in the dugout like, ooh. In terms of today, Stroman went out way too long. Diaz, just overall terrible moves by Rojas. In terms of Rojas, why would you put McNeil out there today?
Who knows? Again, I genuinely don't think, again, like you said, I think we've all kind of said, he's got no sense for the game. And for me, I know everyone is killing the Peterson thing. Maybe that's just the old school guy in me. I love that he kind of like stayed with him. Like, I get the homers, you probably should have pulled him. 100%, you probably should have pulled him. But I kind of I just miss starters getting deep. And I understand the bullpen has been so used. I was not against it. But when he started, I think he gave the double. I think that's when he took him out. But still, he just doesn't have a sense for the game. But then he looks at him, he keeps going to the guys. So if a guy's hitting well or pitching well, he's going to go back to him again. And he's going to go back to him again. And then he's going to burn him out. And then when he blows up, he's never going to go back to him. Because he trusts certain guys. But again, I think we all know, me, you, the whole crew, we know Rojas is gone at the end of the year. We know this. But unless he miraculously can lead this team to win a World Series, which it wouldn't be because of him, because of the guys on the field, he is most likely gone. It's going to be a White Sox situation, just like Rick Renteria, new ownership guy came in, new GM, they fired the manager. So we all know he will be gone at the end of the year. Could he maybe even survive the year? This would have to take a very snowball effect where these guys lose 7, 8 in a row, and then maybe you see him go on midseason. But again, I've tried, and I know you have been very adamant of hating him, and I understand it, but I try to at least give this guy. I know that you said the honeymoon period though, but I'm trying to give this guy, but he has no sense for the game, and it's sad that his dad is maybe a really good manager, and he got none of his tendencies.
Yeah, like you pretty much stated it there. He came in 2020, Rojas. Everyone took it with a grain of salt. He came in. He was hired with a month till spring training because of the whole Carlos Beltran shenanigans. So we barely had any time to get ready. Just 2020 was a whole disaster itself in baseball. I don't even need to go into why. Rojas, it didn't even really count. Then we go into a full season where everything's starting on time. We're playing the same teams that we always play prior to 2020. The honeymoon phase, presidential first 100 days, whatever you want to call it, it's over, Rojas. You have to play as you would now. Think smart. Every game really counts. Everyone says it doesn't. Everyone says, oh, we're still in May. Well, yeah, ever heard of game 163 or, wild card? In terms of that September, it gets close and close. I remember 2016 when we were going to the wild card. We made it by 2-3 games against St. Louis, right?
Yep.
Every game counts. Listen, I'm not asking for series sweeps, series wins. Take 2 out of 3. Don't get swept.
Or at least get one. Yeah, at least get one. Yeah.
At least get one. I'm fine with 1 for 3. 2 for 3 would be great. 3 for 3 would be awesome. But like I said, with Rojas, I'd fire him, but then who are you gonna hire? We see with Rojas is he's never been a player. He comes from a family that are players, but he's not a player. And that's why I like a player who used to be that's why I like managers who used to be a player. That's why I would have not been against Beltran, because he could relate to the guy in the field. Rojas and his mentality in his head, he relies on Hefner with his pitchers. He has no idea what to do. And that's why he probably leaves guys in so long, because he has no idea what they're going through. The mindset, physically, he doesn't know. And overall, I don't think he knows what the hell's going on in terms of managerial status and stuff. He seems so clueless. He doesn't know anything that's going on in the dugout. During the press conferences, he flat out, says, oh, I didn't know that happened. What do you mean you didn't know McNeil and Lindor were in the dugout having an issue? Aren't you? What?
And that's maybe for me why I'm upset is they didn't get a bench coach that has any managerial experience. So maybe that would have been, if you would have come into this guy, the bench coach was gone. I forgot who it was last year. Was it Riggleman? Was in 2018. I forgot who it was after the fact. Oh, Henry Mullins. But the fact that Cohen comes in here, he keeps Rojas as manager, but doesn't hire his own bench coach to say, hey, maybe if this doesn't do well, I have a guy on the bench who has been a manager, who has the experience, is in the guy I trust. That's why I was like, there's no real good bench coach that they didn't get one because Rojas has been so inexperienced, even with that, whatever you want to call 2020. If you want to call it tainted, whatever you want to call it. I mean, it's still a little bit of baseball, but not enough. But that's just for me, the little things that this coaching staff, that Steve didn't go out and say, you know what, I'm leaving you on as manager, but I'm going to put a guy who could replace you if you don't get the job done as your bench coach. And that's just, again, and really, if you fire him now, and I think that's kind of what our thing is, who do you go to? Because there is no bench coach. I've said a few on Frank's stream. Algardo Alfonso is a guy, won a championship in the Mets system in Brooklyn, has managed with, single A, former player. He fits your, being a former player. He's won a championship in the New York Penn League. That was a guy, obviously, I love Carlos Beltran. He's always my favorite player, so I was always for him being the manager. He's got a little card. I like it. Mess with it. I like it. But I was, Carlos Beltran's my favorite player of all time. He's the reason I'm a Mets fan. So when he was named manager, I was the most excited person on the planet because, I was getting autographs. I'd have been in New York. I would have got Beltran. I got a bunch of Beltran autographs. And when A.J. Hinch got the job in Detroit and Cora got the job back in Boston, there you go. But when the Astros guys got their jobs back, I kind of said, like, and I get it. I think, and when the guys in Houston got their jobs back, I looked at them like, so why isn't Beltran getting a shot back? I get it. Steve says he doesn't want guys learning on the job, and I 100% agree with that. I don't want another Rojas or who hasn't had any major league managerial experience. I want a guy who can come in and knows what to do, has a sense for the game, has a feel for the game as much as I hate it, an analytical side, but also a player side. I don't want a puppet for analytics, but I don't want a guy who doesn't care about them. I need a guy with a good mix, who has a feel for the game, who can get these guys to play hard every game, and can win a championship. That's just my thing, and Rojas has none of that. And there is no guy right now. And again, Fonzie is a guy who was in the organization. That could work if they would want to fire Rojas and say maybe internally, they fired him in Brooklyn, but he's been in the organization. I think he still has a part-time job, like one of those ambassadors or something with the team. That could be a guy you look at and say, you know what, if Rojas keeps going south and you want a guy, that could be a name to look out for.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I think one thing that we really moved out on was Joe Girardi. Coming off from another New York team, he knows the media, he knows the press. He has playoff experience, crazy. And one thing is, the Mets want to be in the playoffs. I mean, who on our team has playoff experience, excluding Lindor? Don't even count McCann because McCann, he made a 20. That wasn't even playoff. So Lindor and who else?
Familia, DeGrom.
2015 and the 2016 game that Syndergaard played, and otherwise that's it. I mean, your offensive guys don't have any. Conforto with the World Series, but that was how long ago he was a rookie. He changed so much drastically since then.
That's why I said the Correa trade, man. It just makes sense. Just again, it's never going to happen, but just that kind of thing. And again, like even if you want to make a trade, Chris Bryant's value is now inflated because he's having one of the best third basemen this year. Yeah. So they asked for Alvarez in the offseason. God knows what he's going to ask for now. And again, it's just this team is good, and we all know this team is good. And we live in the moment. I do it all the time. You live in the moment. You really don't look 7 days forward. You look at right now. You look at today, and you see they lose three. Get swept. They get swept. So right now, but I think it's okay. Let's get to Atlanta. Let's beat Atlanta. Come back home. We got the Marlins and we got the Rockies. Rockies are terrible at home, on the road, and the Marlins, they should be the Marlins. So again, try to get 2 from Atlanta and come home. We've been great at home, and we'll be fine. I think, the sky's not falling yet. Still in first place, if you want to call it that. Still in first place. Still a good team. We're hurt to hell. We're going to get reinforcements back. We're still finding ways. The Rays are just a good team.
All Major League Baseball, I mean, Yelich, Bellinger, Acuna, those are 3 MVP candidates right there. They're out. I think the Mets definitely, I don't want to say they got the most of it, but they definitely got, kind of all of it at once. I mean, it kind of all really happened quickly and unexpectedly. So it's unfortunate. Injuries have always been a thing for the Mets, and we wiggled our way, around from it the last couple of years, last 2 years at least.
Yeah.
2020, our pitching really got injured. And I will say one thing: a lot of pitchers have not been getting not many pitching injuries. A lot of offensive guys, batters that are getting.
A lot of them in spring training, but not a lot during the season, pitching wise. There's a lot of guys that got hurt in spring training, pitching wise, but this season, you're right. There really hasn't been.
At least
Dustin May. Like Dustin May is the only guy I've seen where I'm like, okay, that's a big injury to a pitcher, but that's about it.
I'm trying to think, Dustin May. Yeah, that's really it. I mean, in terms of bats, I mean, we could sit here all day naming guys. Yellow, Acuna. I mean, Marte. We could be here all day.
Yeah.
Two guys, Judge and Stanton. I'm surprised they're still moving and grooving.
And they're gonna come. They will, because they'll figure out. Yankee fans are yelling about Judge because he had some. I think he got a COVID shot. He had some soreness. He didn't play, and now they're already yelling at him. So again, it's still early. The guys aren't in prime form. Wait for it to hit 90 every day. Get the warm weather. You'll start seeing baseball, and everyone with the hitting being down. Let's get to the summertime. Pitchers are going to always have the advantage early. Once you get in the summertime, it evens out. The bats will show up. They'll probably juice the baseball after the All-Star game. Trust me. Baseball. You see MLB seeing it and seeing Twitter going nuts. After the All-Star break, they're going to juice the balls again. I wouldn't say 2019 juice, but I do think you'll see some juice balls back.
I mean, looking at these balls, so many of these baseballs, off the crack of the bat, they're making barrel contact. Hit right between the barrel, they go up, and it's about to go over and goes at the last minute. And that's what I understand is we're in the year of the pitcher. 5 no-hitters already. That's 5 no-hitters in a season.
Yeah, less than 2 months.
And we had a ton of no-hitters going so far. I mean, Glasnow almost had that. He had 5 innings. So it's coming to a point where a lot of guys, and that's another thing with the Mets, and that's why I'm concerned is. Maybe is the dead ball getting to us a little? We've seen McNeil. It really got to McNeil, not even home run wise, but just, doubles, to the left and right field corner. Conforto definitely got to him, definitely in terms of home runs. Alonso would have, 2019 ball right now, he'd probably have a solid 10 home runs. I'd say he'd probably have 4 or 5 more home runs. I mean, we saw him destroy that ball, Tampa Bay, obliterated it, exit velo, everything, barrel percentage contact, marvelous. But yeah, I agree with you. They got to bring back these juice baseballs. I mean, if you want to make this game exciting, the fans want to see 500-foot home runs, not, listen, 12, 13 strikeouts, no-hitter, that's cool. But, and we've been seeing so many low-scoring games. I mean, look right now. I mean, I'm seeing so much, 2-3, 3-5. We've seen a couple, look, 0s, 3-0, 3-2. 5-1. We see a 9-10, but a lot of low scoring games. And
maybe I'm biased because I am a pitcher. I love seeing this. I don't want 5 no hitters in 2 months, but I do like seeing the pitcher having some advantage, because every opportunity that MLB tries to make changes, it always helps the hitters. And obviously that's what gets the fans. It's the homers and all that. But as a pitcher, I love it. Like, I love seeing a 2-1 game, but I don't like the 3 outcome baseball, and that's what baseball is becoming with walk, strikeout, or homer. If the pitcher is going to get some advantage, I want to see hitters go back to being, you see a shift, bunt down the left field line if it's righty or lefty, find the holes. I am sick of this walk, strikeout baseball game, and I get that people want, find a way to make offense. Well, if the hitters are maybe more just, and I get deadening the balls, juicing the balls, it could help either way. I just think it'd be more exciting if the pitchers had some advantages, but also, the hitters will have some incentive if it's either, juicing the balls a little bit, but also adjusting. Hey, get rid of shifts, make contact hitters more valuable. I would take a lineup full of DJ LeMahieu's and Jeff McNeil's over Alonso's and Judge's and all that, and I get the home runs the big thing. And again, as a 20-year-old, I am like the most old school 20-year-old you're ever going to meet. I love the pitchers duels. I love it. But I also am sick of this home run or nothing. And maybe that's just me, and maybe it's from my dad or whatever. But for me, I'm all for a 7-6 shootout, but I don't want it to be a 3-run homer and a grand slam and then a bunch of strikeouts. I'm all for single, rally going, all right, 2-run double, all right, RBI single, and it's not just a home run ball, or it's not just a walk and a strikeout. That's just me. So the pitchers having advantages, me as a pitcher, I love it, but obviously I know you want to build the game, you need more offense, and there will be an offensive adjustment at the All-Star break. Because Manfred did the same thing in 2019. You'll get your offense soon, and I do think the Mets are one of the teams getting hoed by these dead balls, like you said. That Conforto ball against Arizona. How is that not gone? The one hit against Arizona in the first inning. Like, it's just
I don't know. We're last in home runs. I think we have like 23.
Yeah.
Guys like Pete Alonso who are leading, who only have 6. You have guys like Mitch Haniger who have 12.
Yeah,
mind boggles with that. And I think a lot of it is, we don't have super many power hitters on this team. We have some guys who could definitely go opposite field. Conforto, Nimmo, Davis. But we really have a lot of light hitting guys. We have some power hitters. We have Alonso. If McNeil gets some of his power back from that, I think ever since his wrist injury in 2019 that sat him down for the last 2 weeks of the season, that kind of snapped some of his power, I will say. But Smith, he could get his power back. Conforto, he can go back to maybe a 30 home run season if he keeps up for it. Power is a thing, and I agree with you. I am old school too. I will say, but I think it comes to a point where it's would I rather see a 2-1 ball game with 10 strikeouts and just nothing, and then 2 runs, the 3 runs overall scored in the first inning, or would I rather see 3 home runs, a grand slam, a ball hit 110 feet, right down the line. And it comes to a point where I think the batting is much more exciting. Listen, pitching is great. I would love, I love to watch Jacob deGrom go out there, throw 102, fastball, drops right in front of the plate with a crazy sinker, spin rate and stuff on it. I love that. But then I think there's also the part where, I think I enjoy seeing Pete Alonso, hit a home run, and Jeff McNeil, hitting a crazy triple right down the left field corner more, than strikeouts. And I think, as you said, I think the All-Star game, they are going to change, because what's going to happen is, attendance rates are going to go low. And, if nothing's going on, viewer ratings are going to go low. And MLB is doing a marvelous job with that. I'll say that. Castellanos trolled Manfred. I don't know if you saw that clip.
That was amazing.
And I don't blame him. I really would. Manfred, they want to expand the game. They want to expand the game. Get rid of the stupid blackouts.
Open up your video library. They have their video library locked. They opened it for like a week to make content creators to make highlight packs, but then they took it away. Then they closed it back down like 2 weeks later. Open up everything. The NBA YouTubers have everything given to them. They can use anything they want. Their video library, all of it. It's anything. And NBA YouTubers are thriving. MLB YouTubers should be. And the game is dying because the MLB is killing the game. It's not letting and I say younger generation, but I mean like guys like us, like YouTubers, build the game. I'm not saying us, but you understand, like YouTubers who can build the game without, being on the field. If it's, Mark or Fuzzy, and they try their best, but, they're handicapped. They don't have every, even though they're best buddies with MLB, they still can't use some of the stuff. So, again, I want to say one thing before I got to go about the Mets and the power thing. Look at 2015, the Royals and the Mets. The Royals were a team that hit for contact, didn't hit for a lot of power. The Mets in 2015 were the home run or nothing. The Dodgers, the Rays, and you can say the Rays and the Dodgers are completely different things, but the same kind of philosophy. They know how to hit situationally. They can hit for contact and all that. I do like this team's build. It can get better, and obviously we're all struggling, but I don't know who you add at the deadline. And, you want to add more power. Of course, you want to hit more homers. But this team has something, contact, offensively that just needs to be untapped. And I do think this team can go far, but, again, it's just that point of we'll get there. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. Yeah, it's always fun hanging out and talking. Appreciate it, man.
Hopefully next time I see you, we'll have some more better stuff to say. LFGM, man. I appreciate it.
LFGM, my guy.
Alrighty. Always appreciate Andrew coming into the stream. First time joining these streams. Always enjoy the fans calling into the stream, give their thoughts. Andrew, is very well known Mets member to the Mets community on YouTube. Always a great fan to have in the stream. Yeah. Otherwise, we had a solid stream today. Low attendance, which I guess makes sense. I would like to thank everyone who kind of stayed to the end, though. Trust me, it means a lot. A lot going on right now with me and baseball, of course. So it means a lot. Everyone stayed in. Not a whole lot of views, but I can care less. We had great chats in the on the stream, as well as people in the comment section. Everyone was kind of roasting. Everyone wants to fire Rojas. Everyone wants to hire Alfonso. Yeah, everyone pretty much. Rojas can go eat it. I'm spitting facts. Me being triggered is funny. So yeah, definitely. Something unfortunate. With the Mets going on, just baseball overall. But yeah, hopefully, we could have a whole different mindset going into this Mets and Braves series at Truist Park in Atlanta. 3 games. You got Walker, Peterson, and then that opening spot. So hopefully we can go in there, with an open mindset. Hopefully we'll get at least one guy back from the injured list. Whether it's Nimmo, whether it's Davis, whether it's McNeil, I doubt it'll be Conforto. But whether we can get one of those 3 guys kind of back, I'd rather 2 out of 3, but I'll take 1 out of 3 back in this Brave series because we got to get these guys back. And listen, I understand that's what AAA is for, to get them back into the swing of things. But they've really been killing it. Good job, Andrew. I appreciate it. Everyone, please check him out. Andrew, I think his channel name is Andrew Acevedo. So please check him out. Always in the Mets weekly streams. Always great Mets channel to the YouTube community. Absolutely, Daniel. I appreciate you joining. New face to the channel. Always appreciate you coming into the stream. I see you on a couple other Met YouTuber streams, so I appreciate you joining this stream. Let's go Mets. Yeah, hopefully we can get that W column going back. We have a record of L3 right now. Hopefully we can get back up there. I mean, I'm sure it's worse right now for other teams. Let's look at MLB standings. Are there any teams that have like a 10L right now? Let's see. No, not really. It's kind of the same stuff. I couldn't find it. Whatever. Who's playing Sunday Night Baseball? That's a great question, Michael. It's going to be the San Diego Padres against the St. Louis Cardinals. I believe that game will be, I want to say it's going to be at like 7 o'clock because it's ESPN. And that'll be in San Diego. So definitely be a great game. No doubt. Two teams that are, I think they have the same record. Yeah, 23-17 for both. So definitely going to be a matchup. 2 teams that are, one's trying to win the division and one's trying to kind of get that wild card, be the future of the division. And the San Diego Padres. The San Diego Padres, they have a good future ahead of them. I think next year, once they get Clevenger back, best rotation in baseball, question, maybe, yes, no. You got Blake Snell. You got Yu Darvish. You'll have Mike Clevenger back. You'll have Joe Musgrove, Denison Lamet. And that's top 5. And then, you still have guys, Mackenzie Gore, one of their highest prospects. Ryan Weathers, one of their other highest prospects who have been so far so good this time. Chris Paddock, a.k.a. the Sheriff. You have so many guys in that Padres rotation. You have depth, and that's what the Mets have is depth. I think the difference between the Mets and the Padres starting pitching depth is the Padres are more, they're higher on their prospects. They have a bigger farm system. Where the Mets prospects, like guys like Yamamoto, they're not gonna, Yamamoto, past guys like Flexen and Oswald, they were never really highly viewed prospects. Where guys like Musgrove, where guys like McGore, Mackenzie Gore, they are. So that's the big difference between those 2 franchises in terms of starting pitching depth. But, depth is important. Depth is really important. We look at starting pitching depth and we see that, with the Mets, last year, when we had, Porcello out, Waka out, DeGrom out, it was kind of an issue where, guys like Peterson and Matz were trying to carry that rotation. And then, you had your Corey Oswald's Cup, be called up and give up 3 runs in the first inning and then get taken out and get sent down again. Well, now you have guys like Yamamoto, but I think the problem is Rojas, well, he's not managing it correctly. Where is Jordan Yamamoto? Joey Lucchese's been on and off. Send him down. Call up Yamamoto. I mean, I haven't heard much about Sapuki or Zapuki, whatever. Thomas Sapuki, however you pronounce his last name. Call him, you have to give these guys a shot. I'm not even giving them a shot. But Yamamoto, I mean, he has a win. He's yet to give up a run, I think. Well, where is he? Is he alive? He's alive. Why don't you call him up? It really makes no sense. It really does. And the problem is, you're using all your bullpen up. You're using them up, and you don't know when to take guys out. You leave them in too long, and then then that ruins the game. So completely, ridiculous to see. I mean, we missed out on that Shane Green thing. That would have been great. Helped out this rotation big time if we signed Shane Green. I think the best thing we could probably do is wait till Seth Lugo comes back, which should be very soon. I mean, Seth Lugo will hopefully be the Band-Aid on the cut, just to kind of keep it steady and really help it out. And I mean, I'm not super concerned with the bullpen. I just think we've been using it so much, and we've been relying on it for the equivalency of 2 starting pitchers. So for two starters spots, we've been using the bullpen and having an openers game. So that's a lot. If it was DeGrom, Stroman, Walker, Peterson, and Carrasco, not giving an exact order or someone, and then the bullpen came in, after the 6th or 7th inning for those guys, then our bullpen would be fine. But we're relying on our bullpen so much that after a while, these guys are going to get exhausted. They're making more appearances. Whether they're throwing more innings in a game, that's another story. But they're making more appearances, so it's killing them. I mean, some guys it could be a beneficial factor, but for some guys it's not. I mean, like Diaz, you put him in today. It's a non-save situation. We're losing. We're down by 4. Why do you put him in for the 9th? Or the 8th, whatever it was, bottom 8th, top 9th, whatever. That makes no sense. And you could have used Diaz tomorrow if we, let's say the Mets, win tomorrow 5-3, random score, and, it's a save situation. You could use Diaz for that. That is what you use Edwin Diaz for. Not to, give up 2 runs, when we're down 10-0. It really makes no sense. It really does. And this is something with Rojas where I say, Rojas, you have got to go. It's ridiculous. But please, everyone, we're probably going to end the stream in a bit. Drop some comments, questions. We'll get into that. We had some great people join in. We had Therese join in and Andrew join in. So please drop some comments. Anything else? Comments, questions, concerns, predictions, your thoughts, anything on the Mets, baseball, anything you want to talk about, please drop them. We'll go through them. I see our viewers are starting to pick up. We have 10 people in the chat. So now it's starting to pick up. Nighttime typically is when YouTube gets more common, which is great. I appreciate it. But we are definitely going to do these streams more often now. I prefer streaming better just because, typically when I do videos, I have a script and I write off a script in my notebook and I read off of my script, I'll be like, Jacob deGrom is the GOAT. Hayden is the GOAT. Pete Alonso is the GOAT. Steven, stuff like that. So I read off of it. Where this, I don't really have to read. I could just kind of go on a rant. And I mean, people love my rants. I mean, I'll say, people love when I get triggered during the Mets games when I'm watching them live. And I'll flip my chair. I'll throw my hat. And it's pretty funny. I'll be cursing at everyone and banging, So, yeah. Yo, what's going on, Ryan, man? LFGM. Definitely great to see you in the stream. Unfortunate game for the Mets, though. I'm here just drunk, so I'll like and listen. That's fine, man. That's fine, man. I appreciate it. Hopefully you didn't have too much to drink. Let me know what you had though. But definitely throw your hat. Oh, you got to see how I threw the hat in those streams. I take my hat and I mean like that or something with it. So I definitely throw my hats. If you guys see me with what was the most notorious one? I gotta say what was it? One with Dom Smith when he struck out on that. I threw my hat and called him a ton of not nice stuff. So I definitely throw my hat, Ryan. Trust me. I have I know you're on the channel a lot, but yeah, you probably see me get triggered at times. What will it take to get? Yeah, I think the thing is, Brian. I mean, as Andrew summed it up pretty good, and I mean, I have in the past, and everyone summed it up. He's more valuable now. So now you're gonna have to give up more. If we signed him if we traded him for him during the offseason, we would have got a lot less. Or we could have gave up less. But now, we're talking, much more prospects. But in terms of now, he's putting up MVP type numbers. So in terms of now, who do you give up? Well, I mean, it's likely you're going to give up a third baseman. So you're probably going to get rid of JD. You're probably going to get rid of your top 2 prospects at least. If you're going to get rid of Brett Beatty, maybe Davis, Beatty, maybe a pitcher or 2 and a prospect. I mean, this guy's elite. And, the Mets really screwed up I would have went him over Lindor. I mean, Jimenez, Jimenez had something. In terms of Rosario Jimenez, I prefer Jimenez. He's younger. He has more talent. Jimenez is definitely wicked with the defense. With the bat, he's not a home run hitter, nice stolen base type of guy, light contact type of guy. Similar to an extent of Nimmo, but not highly. Definitely, question. In terms of this offseason, I mean, if you were to say who, I mean, I wanted, during this offseason, I mean, I wanted Chapman. I wanted Matt Chapman. I would have, during this offseason, I mean, at first I expressed interest in Matt Chapman. I expressed interest in Nolan Arenado. In terms of shortstop, that wasn't my concern because shortstop was holding up. Whether it was Rosario or Jimenez at shortstop, it was holding up. Third base was my more precedented issue. Third base, I expressed interest for Matt Chapman. I expressed interest with Nolan Arenado. I expressed interest in Chris Bryant. Really, Arenado would have been nice. But definitely going to be a lot. What's up with Carrasco? He's back on the 60-day IL. Apparently, he's not been improving. Earliest he can come back is May 31st. Likely he won't. So, still has a strained or whatever it was, hamstring. So, I mean, I think it's likely guys like Lugo and everyone else will return before he does. LOL. Not bad. What's going on with Carrasco? Yeah, pretty much as stated before. The leg. When you throw, it will break your hand. Well, yeah, I mean, I don't throw it too hard. I mean, I was also throwing it against, it's not like a beanbag chair, but there's like a little leg chair right next to me over there, so I kind of threw it against that. Do you think Conforto? I doubt he'll play tomorrow. Well, you never know. I mean, Rojas was a freaking fucking clown and put in McNeil for today, even though he wasn't okay. So, I mean, is it a big deal? I mean, listen, with all the injuries going on, every little thing that happens is a big deal. You have literally everyone out, practically. So many injuries going on, which, it's expected, with all the stuff going on, coming off of the 2020, shortened season. It's expected that injuries are going to go up. Due to lack of playing time and lack of working out and all the stuff going on. It's expected, but I didn't expect it to be this bad. The Mets definitely got hit. Did they get hit worst? I don't know about worst, but they definitely got hit in a short period of time. Definitely sucks to see. It really does. But in terms of Conforto, I really don't know. I mean, it comes to a concern is we have depth, but now after our depth, what do we have? I mean, today we were in the issue of the only bench guy we had left was Tomas Nido. Let's say Villar got hurt. Then what would you have done? I mean, I'm actually curious. What would the Mets have done? I mean, did Peraza play third base, and then you put Nido to fucking play? I really don't know. So now that becomes an issue. Obviously, we have guys like Khalil Lee and Jake Hager to come up. They were called up. Khalil Lee was sent back down. Jake Hager is back. Patrick Mazeika, who I don't know if Mazeika's going to be. I don't know if he's going to catch anytime soon, or if he's just going to be kind of that pitch hitter. I'd like him to get some catching appearances, and that'd be nice. But yeah, definitely. If he's going to play, I really don't know. Probably not. I think in terms of who's going to be back, I think one guy is going to return into the Atlanta series. And out of all those guys consisting of Conforto, McNeil, Nimmo, and Davis, I think at least one will return. The thing with McNeil is he started to feel pain after beating out that ground ball in the first. We saw that he had some hand, I think it was his left or right hamstring tightness, which was definitely an issue. I would wait and sign Bryant. Well, that's the thing. He's getting pricier and pricier, day by day, bat by bat, hit by hit. So we really messed up. And if we trade him for near in the offseason, it would have. I mean, you never know, though. You could say the same thing. He could have came here and played like Lindor at first, so you don't know. But that definitely see the point. What's going on with Conforto and McNeil? Yeah, pretty much as I explained it before, Hayden. Yeah, pretty much in terms of today's game, McNeil and Conforto both left the game after the first inning, I think, due to hamstring tightness and soreness. Conforto and McNeil both running out ground balls on first to first base. It sucks. Yeah, McCann is. I mean, and that's the thing is that I was running around saying McCann isn't an everyday catcher. If you want to use him as an alternate, sure, go ahead. But he's not an everyday catcher. When he was with the White Sox, he has Yasmani Grandal as the main catcher. McCann played 30, 40 games a season, not 134. So that's the thing. And everyone's running around saying Nito. Why doesn't Nito be the full-time catcher? Explain to me. Yeah, Nito's great defensively. He has great framing, but so did McCann when he was a half-time catcher. So, I mean, if you bring Nito up as the full-time catcher, won't it be the same thing as McCann? I mean, I don't get it. You can't push a guy from going 30 games a year to 130 games. It's not, and I mean, in terms of, I would have definitely wanted Realmuto, screw the money. Screw the finances. We're the richest, Steve Cohen's the richest owner in baseball. We're a New York franchise. We could spend money. And in terms of the luxury tax, next year, they're probably going to get rid of it. So who cares? He's not doing anything he can. Offensively, he sits there. He's batting Mendoza line at this rate. His bat is dead. He's not doing anything. In terms of his defense, his framing is atrocious. I'd rather myself go out there and frame better than him. He seems lazy and lost at the plate, if you ask me. I mean, we see guys like Syndergaard. He hated pitching to Ramos. Well, Syndergaard's probably going to hate pitching to McCann in terms of his framing and how quick he is. He's slow. I mean, not as slow as Ramos, but, we see him get up, balls get past him, and he looks around. He doesn't know where it is. He's lost. And I don't know. And I really think a lot of his pitchers don't have much confidence in him. We have to rebuild. No, that's true. I understand that. But I think you definitely could make your small ways to get better guys and to keep now. We know that during the Wilpons regime, they didn't really focus on their farm system. They kind of neglected it. They really did. And then, but you have teams like the Marlins, the Dodgers, the Padres, the Mariners, who are starting to get up there now. Excuse me, the Dodgers, they've always been up there because their farm system. And the Mets definitely have some guys, Alvarez, Brett Beatty. And then, you have more your middle, tier guys. Mark Ventinos, I think is his name. Jake Hager. So you have guys that are getting up there. You have some great pitching prospects. Matt Allen, unfortunately, got Tommy John. Zapoki, you have your Philly call-up. LFGM, absolutely. Every team has issues. Absolutely, I agree. It's so early in the season, but I think it comes to where, every game counts. Because, I mean, you look at, a possible 163 game or, 2016 wild card. It came down to that last week. Every game really matters, I think. What do you think is wrong with the Mets offense? That's a great question. I think it really comes down to, the injuries. We've been having the injuries, and who's been substituting for these injuries? Your ninth inning defensive guys. Pilar, Villar, Almora. These guys are, they've been holding up at the bat, but, they're known for their glove, not their bat, and you're throwing them into play every game. Villar and Pilar, they're not going to play. They weren't expected to play 160, 150 games this year. They were expected to be, their ninth inning defensive guys and maybe, come in for an injury or so. And, I mean, these guys knew it. So sooner rather than later, there'd be injuries and they get called up or put in the starting lineup for, a day or a week. But that, after a while, it starts to shred out. So I really think that's the issue is, Villar, Pilar, Moore Jr., these are your ninth inning defensive guys, and you're putting them in to be an everyday starter. And they were like that in the past, but I mean, look how they played with their past teams in the past. I mean, and also being a reliability, knowing that if you get hurt, there's no one below, behind you. JD, is he really? Okay. I have not seen that. I'll look on Twitter. Hopefully that's true. That'd be amazing. I believe I heard that he wanted to they wanted him to play in AAA Syracuse prior. We saw Ronnie Mauricio hit a home run today on the road. Good for him. But yeah. Okay, that's good. Yeah, I'll have to look back at that. Hopefully he does. I don't know if Rojas mentioned that in a press conference or something. If you did, let me know if it was a press conference or Twitter or however you obtain the information. Because, yeah, absolutely. The baseballs are juiced too, as I was stating it before. I mean, when the stream was kind of dead before, I stated it before. Exactly, Daniel. You know, the baseballs are juiced. It's been getting to guys like Alonso and Conforto terribly, and the Mets. The Mets are last in home runs. I think they're like 23, 24, 25 home runs, and that's why. You know, you have guys like Alonso who are beast with power. You know, Alonso, if we had the 2019 or 2020 ball, he would have at least 10 home runs, 11 home runs on the season. He has 6, which is fine. But I think that's why, you know, the juice baseballs have been affecting, you know, the Mets. You know, we see Alonso and Conforto. They're literally hitting the ball at the barrel, and the exit velo is going up. But then, like at the warning track, it goes down and goes into the catcher's mitt on the warning track. So juice baseball. We see it gets to McNeil with these doubles. You know, it'll carry over to the left field side. You know, at left fielder, dives and catches it. You know, it's been getting to our guys, and it's definitely the year of the pitchers so far. Ken is bad. Yeah, he's something all right. Ken was good defensively. And I think defensively, I mean, I don't know. I mean, looking at this, do you think the Buffalo is better? I think there are some comparisons between McCann and Ramos. That some side in McCann and some side in Ramos. In terms of Ramos, I mean, he wasn't really, I mean, in terms of speed and stuff, I mean, Ramos was really a power hitter, or he was nothing. I mean, Ramos, he wasn't going to, be a base hit guy because he'd probably freaking get out. He was so slow. Pretty much slower than Albert Pujols or anyone. It was either a home run or, I mean, a really far, double that could be a single, and he's safe for a dud. Where McCann has some speed. I mean, speed is one thing as a catcher, but, in terms of framing, being lazy at the plate, it's struggling for both of them. All right. LFGM, absolutely, guys, indeed. Please drop an LFGM, like, comment, subscribe, share the stream with people. We're trying to get to 300 subs. We're almost there. McCann sucks. Oh, McSucks had 2 catchers interference in 1 game and a pass ball. Yep, that's true. I believe that was the first game with the Rays when they were trying to throw out whoever it was that stole for second. That's another thing, too, is this positioning is killing us. I know looking in terms of the I forgot what Ray it was, but we'll call him Ray's player for the sake of it. Ray's player was stealing from first to second, and I forgot who was at bat, but that's not the point. McCann threw the ball to second, and I think it was Peraza. Peraza bobbled the ball. It went past him, and then you have no one at shortstop because Lindor is playing behind you. No. The center fielder comes in. The shortstop goes back to where he was, and you have the center fielder behind you. I mean, this is something that I'm taught when I'm playing baseball. I'm a second baseman, so of course I would know this. But in the heat of the moment, it's difficult. I wish you could trade for a catcher. Nah, it's too late. I mean, he could still be a backup catcher. It'd be absurd to pay your backup catcher like $80 million or whatever it is, but at this rate, I mean. And I understand catchers, only have so much. Yan Gomes, Martin Maldonado, Austin Barnes. I understand that, but look at from the pitcher side. If they could frame, if they could throw out runners, if they could do this, that's the other part. A catcher hitting is one thing, but it's another thing if they could frame, get down in the dirt, be able to get the umpire's way. Is he? I don't know. Oh, okay. Yeah, if he is, that'd be great. Salute to the chat. Absolutely, guys. Please drop an LFGM, like, comment, subscribe, all that great stuff. I think we're almost at 300 subscribers. I think we're like 5, 6 away. So please, let's try to get there. Channel's been blowing up recently in terms of views, likes, everything. So please, let's get up there. His bat was better. I think we're referring to McCann, maybe. Mets need to get rid of the shift. Yeah, I mean, we see the Rays, who are a very interesting team. They don't rely on the shift, but they've been getting out there this year. In terms of the shift, I mean, I'm very ambiguous with the shift. I think if we look at the shift, if the shit, we saw the minor league had the rule where, everyone has to be on the infield dirt. And I mean, in terms of ruling on the shift, I'm all out of going where you are. As long as you're in fair territory, I could really care less where you play. I mean, should the first baseman, should the first baseman be positioned like right behind second base? Probably not. I mean, that makes no sense. But like stuff like that, they shouldn't be standing away like 70 feet from their, natural position. But I'm in favor of limiting the shifts. I don't want to say limiting. I'll redirect on that, but I'm in favor of putting limitations on the shift. If you want to have maybe, two guys only be able to step on the outfield grass rather than 3 or 4, I'm down to that. But in terms of the shift and, the scorecards for the shift, it's, scorecards for the shift are completely stupid. It tells you where to stand, where this guy swings. Remember it or sucks to be you. Catcher is it definitely is. Catcher, I mean, pitcher and catcher are definitely, I mean, everyone's eyes are on the catcher. I mean, pitcher, yeah, but catcher, I mean, that's where the ball comes off of. So as a second baseman, I probably pay more attention to the catcher, believe it or not. I know it sounds crazy, but, that's where, the contact's going to come from. Although the pitcher, yeah, I mean, to get into your rhythm, sure. Facts, absolutely. I should be manager. I appreciate it, LFGM. The shift, it is what it is. Yeah, I mean, listen, we're living in a day where analytics and shifting and all that stuff's coming into effect. Hey, give that catcher some wild turkey. McCann, yeah, and I'd rather a turkey player. But how are we still in first? Well, we're still in first because teams like the Braves and the Phillies have been going on and off. That 7-game winning streak really helped us against those two cruddy teams. I mean, looking ahead at the Mets schedule, take a look at the Mets schedule. My internet's down. How lovely. But please, everyone, please feel free to give this video a like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. We're trying to get up there in views, comments, subscribers. So please give this video a like, comment, subscribe. It really helps me out a lot. Appreciate it. So in terms of the Mets' upcoming games, it's looking all right. It's looking a little double-sided. I think taking a look, obviously the Mets, have a 3-game series against the Braves, then a 3-game series against the Marlins in Miami. So, the Marlins, they're a team that sometimes kills us, but we put up a fight. Then we have the Rockies. So the Rockies are terrible on the road, especially at Citi Field. Then we face the Braves, the Diamondbacks, the Padres, the Orioles, the Padres, the Cubs, the Nationals, the Braves, the Phillies, the Braves, the Yankees, the Brewers, the Pirates, and then we're at the All-Star break. So I know I kind of, went on a whole mouthing, whatever you want to call it right there, rant. In terms of upcoming games, but you got to get out there. You really do. I mean, you can't, get a 7-game winning streak against the against like the Pirates and the Orioles and the D-backs and be happy about it, and then go, oh yay, 7-game winning streak. We're a great team. Yeah, but listen, if you get a 7-game winning streak against the Yankees, the Dodgers, and the Cardinals, sure, I'll round that. Yeah, but until we do that, I'm not really gonna get all excited and have high hopes. I mean, listen, it's a win. A win's a win. And, I don't think it should matter, how it comes or where, what team it came from. But I definitely think it comes from in terms of, getting into that postseason. And, once we get into the postseason, we're going to be facing, top tier, pitchers and, offensive guys. So definitely one thing to say. You have the wild turkey. Share with McCann. Absolutely. Yeah, but I appreciate everyone for tuning in to this stream today. We are probably going to wrap it up in a minute or two, getting late. We've been live streaming for almost 2 hours. But please, everyone, feel free to give this video a like, comment, and subscribe to the channel for more great baseball content. If there's any recommendations on videos you guys want me to do, talking about baseball, the Mets, anything, please feel free to drop it below. I'd really, any idea I definitely take into consideration. I probably may use it because I'm always looking for content and stuff. But please, everyone, feel free to give this video a like, comment, and subscribe to the channel for more Mets content. Follow me on my social medias. It's in the read along below. Instagram, Twitter, and Snapchat. Twitter's probably the best to communicate baseball with me because that's where all the news is broken out kind of to an extent. But I appreciate everyone tuning in. I hope we make the playoffs. Yeah. In terms of the playoffs, playoffs are complete. It's a whole new ball game. No pun intended. We saw 2015. We started off, kind of like a low morale. I don't want to say low morale, but like a low. You know what I'm trying to say. Like find a synonym for it. But we kind of started off as a team that wasn't expected to perform highly. And then, we kind of had some like mid-season stuff. We called up Conforto. We acquired Cespedes. You kind of had your bench guys step up, Campbell, Uribe, stuff like that. And then it kind of exploded our guys. And then the defense was kind of cruddy. And then what happened was the playoffs came. We did well in the NLDS and NLCS. We came to the World Series, and as stated before, the Royals, who are a powerful team, they got to us, and then our defense really showed up in the playoffs. Our defense killed us in the playoffs. And when people say, "Oh, defense, boo-hoo, score runs," well, we did score runs, but then the defense, came up and destroyed us. The Lucas Duda throw to home plate to Travis d'Arnaud, the Daniel Murphy bobble. Stuff like that. The David Wright not looking in time and then throwing. The simple stuff like that. We got you on likes. Hey, absolutely, man. I appreciate it, Christopher. I appreciate you tuning into the channel. Definitely been seeing you a lot in these streams. New person. I always appreciate it. As always, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I know everyone has my back in these streams. We've been doing great. We had a high at one point in this stream of 12 people. Awesome. I think my most highest active live feed I think I've had so far is 20, and that was when I was live streaming the game. So definitely would like to beat that at some point in one of these streams. Definitely unpredictable with timings and stuff. Expos talk with Hayden. Yeah, rocking the Expos hat today. Probably gonna what the heck that is. Is that gum? I have no idea what that is. Definitely gonna be getting some more hats. It's the paint. Definitely gonna be getting some more hats coming soon. So always enjoy that. Definitely some more baseball jerseys. I'm getting another Miami Marlins Brian Anderson jersey, as well as a Braves Ronald Acuna Jr. jersey, which does have the All-Star patch, but I kind of purchased it beforehand. Expos talk with Hayden. Yeah. Well, definitely historical team. Look who in the chat. Who's in the chat? Who's in the chat? Tell me. Is it someone I should be intrigued of or interested? Yeah, tell who. I don't see anyone in the chat. I don't see anyone else in the chat. Who's in the chat? I know. I'm an old piece of grumpy, but I talk some smack. Yeah, listen, it's great to see so many, just people that like the Mets, regardless of your age, anything really, any of your characteristics or anything, regardless of that, I'm always down to talk about the Mets, whether it's someone older, younger, dumb, intelligent, whatever. I'm down to talk about the Mets. Baseball's baseball. If you want to talk about the Red Sox, we'll talk about the Red Sox. I may not know a whole lot or as much as a Red Sox fan would, but I know a solid amount to be able to have a conversation about, Alex Verdugo, Kike Hernandez, their interesting pitching rotation that's holding up, their improved bullpen, stuff like that. I do not buy. I do. Because I'm such a big baseball fan in general. I mean, some of it's for style, some of it's because I like, the baseball, historical, all that stuff. But I have, over 53 hats, over a dozen jerseys. I mean, obviously Mets come down first. I go into public with an Angels hat. Everyone's like, "Oh, Angels fan." Start talking about Mike Trout and all that stuff with me and Shohei Ohtani. And I'm like, I talk about it, but I'm like, no, I'm a Mets fan. LFGM, absolutely. We are probably going to call it a wrap here, though. We had a great stream, just approaching 2 hours. Awesome stream. I really appreciate everyone that tuned in today. Not the most exciting stream, just in terms of what we spoke about. The Mets have not been doing too well. So, definitely sucks to have to kind of have to have a stream that doesn't really have any high emotions or positivity due to it. You know, we've been having a lot of injuries, 3 L's in a row. So, it definitely sucks to simply hear about. But please, everyone, if you can, give this live stream one last like, comment, subscribe, anything else. But yeah, I really appreciate everyone for tuning in. If you want to drop one more LFGM, whatever, I'd appreciate it. Give your predictions for the upcoming Mets and Braves series in Atlanta. You know, who do you think will take it? You know, what players do you think will come out? What players do you think will dial down a bit? Or any other baseball predictions, please feel free to let me know. As well as some other MLB prediction, recommendation videos, anything. I'm always down to read anything. But please, baseball fans, I'd recommend it. We have 9 people in the chat, LFGM. I appreciate everyone, all the OGs that really stayed from the beginning to the end. I appreciate it. Overall, that's really it. Salute to the chat. I appreciate everyone for tuning in. Salute to the chat. Absolutely. John, thank you for being a morale booster to the chat to an extent at times. I appreciate it. We're probably going to call it a stream here. Mets have a losing streak of 3, hoping to get hot and high, both, with the Atlanta Braves in Truist Park in Atlanta. On the bump tomorrow, we have Max Fried going against Taijuan Walker. Hoping the Mets could do something. Till next time, baseball fans, see ya.